Art Pepper has endured many ups and downs throughout his life, from struggling with addiction in the midst of his career to learning how to grow as a person and bounce back into the light of fame. In this presentation, I will cover the many aspects of Art Pepper's life, from his upbringing and early successes in jazz to his struggles with addiction and recovery. In 1925, Art Pepper was born in Gardena, California, to his parents who were 14 years old at the time of his birth. With both of his parents being abusive towards Art as a reflection of their alcoholism struggles, he was sent to live with his grandmother at a very young age. At 9, he began music lessons, where he initially started on the clarinet, but quickly switched to the alto saxophone due to his passion for and love of the beautiful sound. After lessons, he was largely self-taught, primarily by listening to and understanding music in Los Angeles, California. His immense skill at this learning style benefited him, making it easier for him to establish himself in the industry and giving himself a competitive edge in the musical field. In his teenage years, he began performing professionally alongside top musicians, including Benny Carter. He briefly joined Stan Keaton's band until being drafted into the United States Army during World War II. After the war ended, he immediately rejoined Stan Keaton's orchestra, establishing himself as one of the top alto saxophonists in the post-bop era. This era showcased his immense talent and rise to popularity from his awe-inspiring improvisation skills and unique sound. At this time, he remained a staple of jazz, releasing his hit album, Art Pepper Meets the Rhythm Section. His rising career repeatedly got interrupted by Art's heroin addiction, leading him to multiple jail and prison-related arrests. In the autobiography he wrote, Art Pepper happens to identify himself with his addiction by saying, "That's what I practiced, and that's what I am, and that's what I will die as, a junkie." Art Pepper's autobiography. This quote seems to make the point that an addiction is not something to move on from simply, but rather a lifelong, unchangeable aspect of one's existence, and it should be viewed as a learning lesson rather than something to be forgotten. His open acknowledgement of his addiction showed that he was not afraid to show who he genuinely was. It seemed like, despite his life struggles, he still chose to make a positive impact on an unfortunate situation. After attending methadone therapy, he made a remarkable musical redemption by touring worldwide and recording many albums over his final years. At the end of his life, it seemed that he had come to terms with his mental health, as he began to discuss his issues with his addiction openly. He inspired many people at the time to develop their own methods for relieving stress in life. He significantly influenced others to make more intelligent decisions about how to cope with their personal upbringings and difficulties. Art Pepper created many pieces to showcase his own upbringing and life story, such as his graphic autobiography, Straight Life, about his struggles with addiction, crime, and imprisonment, co-written with Laurie Pepper, and documentary film Art Pepper, Notes from a Jazz Survivor, based on his life in chronological order. These projects showcased his perseverance in the face of his individual struggles. Within his documentary, Art Pepper explains his obscurity with performance anxiety, saying, "I would get sick to my stomach 4, 5 days before a gig. It's like if you're going to do something different. It's really scary. And you're not scared. That means you're just not planning on doing anything different." Art Pepper's documentary. Within the article of Jazz Times, it said Straight Life was published in 1979. There's a good chance that today, in the Me Too era, the book would have never found a publisher. If it had, there's a good chance that no nightclub would book Art Pepper, nor any record label sign him to a deal. T.J. English, Jazz Times. These quotes from Straight Life and the article from Jazz Times shows that although he was not particularly a nice person, he did make some sort of effort to change his ways toward the end of his life. The dark side of Art Pepper's life is honestly difficult to hear about, especially when the retelling of his life experiences comes from his words. His openness in describing his criminal thoughts and actions is quite candid. The way he described his way of thinking at times was hard to follow and listen to. Art Pepper's musical expression within his pieces had a profound impact on the jazz genre. In June of 1982, Art Pepper passed away due to a stroke in Los Angeles, California, at the age of 56. He was survived by his wife, Lori Pepper, who played a crucial part in his career by taking the role of his manager and continued to preserve his legacy for the rest of her life. She just recently passed away in 2023 at the age of 91. I personally believe that Art Pepper's ability to articulate his thoughts on the ups and downs of his life's journey showed just what kind of person he was. He is an individual who strives for the best despite facing numerous hardships, from being born to young runaways, enduring abuse by his parents, being drafted into the war, and having to face the mental struggles of these situations. His thoughts on performance anxiety are striking to see, and for a person who struggles with the same feeling, it is quite remarkable to know others are going through the same feeling that I go through. Although my anxiety issues are not nearly as bad as his, I feel inspired to recognize the release systems that I have found work for me. Art Pepper's career had a profound influence on the jazz genre, and his life story continues to inspire many jazz enthusiasts and people struggling with personal issues to strive for the betterment of their lives.